If you're watching this, this is my first ever YouTube video. So exactly 1 year ago, I signed up for GoHighLevel to start my own business. And I want to tell you the story of the last 12 months. And if you're learning to use high level, you want to start, you already started, you're trying to get to the next level and break through, hopefully this will help somebody. So, all right, let's get into it. Exactly a year ago, June 10th, 2025, I signed up for GoHighLevel. And I'm a year in, I want to tell you what I've done, and I'm going to start building the business in public on YouTube, showing what I'm working on, and trying to help people that are starting out that can learn things that I wish I would have known when I started. So, quick shout out to HL Pro Tools. If you're new to high level, you're learning how to use it, you need some help, I'm using them for some VA services right now. They're awesome, huge player in the GoHighLevel ecosystem. Check out their link below. They'll help you out. They're amazing. Okay, so a year ago I started. I want to tell you my story. I'm a year in and I'm at about $15,000 a month. And here's a quick little snapshot of my Stripe and my invoicing through the system. So I'm just about to break 80,000 total revenue on Stripe with over 56 unique customers. Initially when I started, some of my payments came through other methods. I didn't have Stripe set up yet, but that's where I'm at today. And we're gonna keep going. So quick little bit of backstory for me. So I spent the first 11 years of my professional career out of college doing business skills training in developing countries, helping small business owners all over the world in 12 different countries. So just, I love helping people. I love small businesses, and that's my background. So learned a lot, trying some different things over the years. I tried to start some different businesses, side hustles, that kind of thing. And first one I tried was print on demand, and I made some money. And I tried to just do some designs, t-shirts, all that kind of stuff. I probably made around just under $500 in revenue, probably around $250 in profit, spent 4 to 6 months doing it. And I was really just kind of dabbling, trying to figure out how to make some money online. So good first try at some things, but it was pretty low ticket and not super high margins and didn't go very far with it. And it just took longer than I wanted to get traction. So I actually bought some vending machines and called up a local apartment complex, placed one of the vending machines at the apartment complex. The other one sat in my garage for like a year, and I ended up running the vending machine location. It wasn't a great location, but what I ended up doing is selling the machines, and I made more profit from reselling the machines that I had purchased originally than I ever did from refilling the machine with snacks. So that was about $3,000 in revenue, about 50% profit. I did it for a little under a year, and it was just a side hustle project that I wanted to try to see what I could do to make some money. So for me at the time, it was like, oh man, I'm spending, serious money on buying these machines, and it was just like my first attempt at trying something with a little more investment upfront. So then next thing I tried was Airbnb arbitrage. So I actually bought a turnkey operation of 4 studio apartments locally where I live from a friend who had already previously operated them. So put in some money, bought the location, leasing apartments, and then subletting them on Airbnb. Did over $100,000 in revenue. The profit was just under $20,000, but I actually didn't make back what I had originally put in just to buy the turnkey operation. And I did that for over a year, and it was a great learning experience. Learned a ton, but it was what you call a headache. So did over $100,000 in revenue, but the profit was not worth the headache of dealing with the issues, the cleaners that didn't show up on time, and a guest shows up to a bed that looks like this, the people breaking the rules and smoking in the units, the broken stuff, the pillows that are dirty, just like nonsense. And I think Airbnb can be a great business. In this case, the location was small, and so the demographic was difficult, not high profit, and just a huge headache that wasn't worth the time. And so I shut it down, learned a ton, but was like, okay, I'm going to start the next thing. So I came across high level and decided I was going all in to start my own business, leveraging some of my past experience. And so signed up for GoHighLevel, really just jumped right in, didn't exactly know even what I was doing, took a bunch of courses and everything, started learning the software. And by this time I had already started like reaching out to local businesses. I knew I wanted to do something with local businesses and learned about HighLevel, got right into it. And this is kind of the story. So my very first client that I had was a local landscaper, and I met this guy in my neighborhood. I had decided previously, even before I learned about HighLevel, that I wanted to work with local businesses. And because I speak Spanish, I wanted to work with local Hispanic contractors. There's a lot of landscapers where I live. So I started collecting pictures of landscaping vehicles in my neighborhood. And I would call them and talk to them and say, hey, what are the problems with your business? How can I help you? I wanted to kind of like build some systems to help these guys formalize their businesses a little bit better. And most of the small solo operator landscapers don't have any formal business systems. So my original idea, what I thought was original, was trying to help landscapers to create like a payment system so their clients don't have to leave checks and cash and Zelle for all the monthly payments for landscaping. And I felt like I validated that pain with a lot of customers that have a landscaper that has just an informal payment system. So I was just talking to landscaping guys all the time. So my very first client with HighLevel was this guy right here. And I had seen his truck driving through the neighborhood like a mile from my house. And about a month later, I saw the same truck drive down the street where I live. So I actually got on my bike and chased him down. He was handing out business cards on the driveways in my neighborhood. And I said, hey, I want to talk to you about your business. Like, tell me about what you're doing. So he came over to my house and I said, tell me what you do. And he's like, I'd like to help you. And so he ended up becoming my very first client. And I ended up building him his website, getting him onto Google, getting him Google reviews, and just helping him get his business up and running using the HighLevel tools. So that's the story of how I got my very first client. And he's still my client to this day, a year later. And I've helped him get dozens of clients now, and he's growing his business. So that's how I started. Literally was just like contacting local landscapers and then building from there. So fast forward, I've worked with over 50 clients, and they're all local home service guys. And everything from painting to electricians, landscaping, general contractors, duct cleaning, painters, plumbers, and I'm working in the home services niche. So I've got about 50 clients, and just yesterday I crossed over 80,000 in total revenue, over 60,000 in profit. So I'm at about 75% profit margin, 80%, and monthly recurring revenue I'm at about 13,000, and I'm doing over 15K in revenue each month now. So it's at about 75 to 80% profit margin. So these are a quick little snapshot of the Google business profiles of my clients, and that's what I'm doing. So wanted to share like what it was like getting started. So here's a little screenshot from Stripe showing kind of my trajectory with revenue. And when I started, I felt like I had a decent start. I got 5 clients pretty quickly. One was a friend of the local business, one was the landscaper, and then the next couple, like one was a cold call, one was a referral. So I had kind of a mix of where my clients were coming from. Some of them were people that I knew that had businesses that I knew needed help. And I quickly got off to start the first like month and a half with 5 clients. I was feeling great. I was like, okay, I could do this. And then I had about 2 months where I didn't close a single deal. I stalled out. And this is like the little dip here in the line. And I started to kind of get worried, thinking, oh, the market is saturated, or nobody wants this, or it's too hard to close deals. And I just stuck with it. I was committed to making it work. And about month 5, I kind of had a breakthrough where I landed a bunch of deals. And some of them were people that I had followed up with for months, just like essentially begging them to let me help them with the business. So around 5 to 6 months in, I got some momentum and closed a bunch of deals. And then from that point on, about 6 months ago until now, I've closed between 5, 7, 8 clients per month. And that's where I'm at right now. So it took some time to get some momentum and traction, and I'm going to keep sharing more about the story of how I got here. But that's kind of how the journey went for me. Started off pretty good with a couple cold contacts, a cold call, and a couple referrals and friends. Stalled out for a few months. Then I got momentum, and now I'm cruising at averaging about 5 to 6 clients a month. I've got big plans to grow quicker, but that's how I got started in the first year. So the breakdown kind of goes like this. So like I said, this is my month by month breakdown of how many clients I got each month, the total running number of clients, and then revenue and monthly recurring revenue. So you can see like first month, one, then I got a couple more over that. It was over that first 2-3 months when I got those first 5 clients. They might not have all been in month 1. So it was something kind of like this. And then I had this period where I like really slowed down, and I closed 1 or 2 deals over month 5 and 6. And then, yeah, it was month 7 that I really like picked up, closed a bunch of deals, and then been averaging 5 and 6 and per month since then. So this is not quite updated because the last week isn't shown here, but yeah, I've been over 50 clients. I've lost a few here and there for people that shut down their business or they changed plans and did a different business. But the first 6 months, I did 20,000 in total revenue. And the fun part was the next 2 months, I did 20,000. And so what I did in the first 6, I then did in the next 2. And then since then, every month has just been growing. So I'm on track soon to probably hit 20,000 in a month in recurring revenue that's adding up, as well as like the revenue that I'm getting from onboarding a new client. So monthly recurring started out small, it's been growing. Now it's over 13,000 monthly recurring. And then obviously I just add to that the setup fee that I charge clients to start working with them. So it's over 15,000 a month now. So that's kind of the breakdown. Started off good, slowed down, but picked up at about halfway through the first year. So there's a lot of things I go back and do differently, but it's been a journey and a process, and I'm still figuring it out as I go, but it's working. So a couple fun highlights on just my journey. So most of my clients have been through cold calling, and this is my primary strategy still, and I'm just about to break out of that, but this is the best way to start. And what I found is most people, they start and then they get stuck and they don't know how to talk to businesses. But this is where I've gotten 90% of my clients is through cold calls. And maybe the thing that makes me a little unique is I have not contacted more than 500 businesses. And so I've closed about 10% of the businesses that I've contacted, which I guess people say is like a pretty high conversion rate. But I really invest in finding the right businesses to contact, and then I build a relationship and I follow up, and that's been the key. So I'm only working with local businesses in my city and nearby where I live, and I'm doing it in English and in Spanish. So I have some clients that are Hispanic contractors, and this is a little bit kind of what makes my case unique. So what's next? I'm trying to get to $30,000 a month recurring revenue. And since I started sharing kind of my journey in some of the communities that I'm in, I got a lot of people asking me for help. Like, hey, how are you doing this? How are you closing deals? How are you getting a client a week? What's your script? How do you cold call these businesses? And so I actually, at people's request, started doing some coaching on just teaching people the methods that I'm using to reach out to local businesses. So I'm starting this channel so that I can build in public, share what I'm doing, share what's actually working for me, and teaching other people that are starting or have already started and kind of stalled, or they just want some extra support, what I'm doing to grow the business. So if you're working on this or you want to get started, I'm fundamentally bought into the idea that high level can be a great business opportunity if you want to just make some side money, or you want to replace the 9-to-5, or you want to go big. I'm trying to go big and grow this agency and really make some significant income. But I think anybody pretty much who has the time and they're willing to put the work in can make some really solid side income using this method. And I want to talk about what that looks like. So if this is you and you want to make some side income, replace the 9-to-5, or just go big and make it your full-time thing, you're in the right place. I can show you exactly what I did to get where I am. So let's talk about high level. If you're not familiar, there's lots of YouTube rabbit holes you can go down to learn about the software, but basically the most important thing to know is high level is a great platform, great software that can do a lot of cool stuff with AI, tech, and SaaS for business, period. And the big opportunity is kind of this mix between service businesses and small businesses and AI and technology. So there's a massive opportunity, I think, to sell SaaS, software as a service, and technology and some AI tools to small businesses. And GoHighLevel is right at the crossroads of these things. And there's a huge opportunity to kind of democratize this for people that want to make money helping small businesses. So let's talk about the problem with GoHighLevel. So there is a learning curve. You've got to learn the technology, learn the platform. And if you hear someone telling you that like you don't need to be tech savvy to get started, that depends on your definition of tech savvy. So you need to be able to learn and be comfortable with technology, with the computer, with software, and like learning some new stuff. It can be a lot at first. So there is a learning curve. And for me, I'm a millennial. I'm very comfortable with technology. This is how it felt when I started. I was totally overwhelmed by how much there was to learn. You can quickly get lost in the technology and everything that's possible with the tech alone. So it can be a little overwhelming or a lot, and it can be tough to know, like, where do I start? Like, what should I do? What should I sell? What should my offer be? Who should I sell to? Which niche? How do I connect the websites and the funnels? Do I do ads? There's a lot of things you can get stuck trying to figure out. And for me, in the first week, in the first month, I was completely and totally overwhelmed. I binged through some courses and quickly got overwhelmed. So my goal in starting what I'm doing now to teach people what I did is, what can you do to make it easier? So what I have found is that most people, when they start with GoHighLevel, they focus on the wrong thing. And the worst part is they feel productive doing it. And I got caught in this trap a little bit too. So the technology is amazing. There's so many cool things you can do with GoHighLevel as the software. And so a lot of people that are trying to start building a business with it, they get stuck working on building and learning all the technology. And they feel super productive because you're learning a ton. It's kind of exciting. There's some cool tools. And you start building and building and building. Before you know it, weeks and months have gone by. And guess what you haven't done? Sold anything. You put all that time into learning the technology, and then a lot of times people spend time creating their agency brand and their own website, and they're building like their automations for outreach and even the systems they're going to use for the business. And then even sometimes they'll work on lead generation, scraping leads and putting together all these systems. And then they start trying to sell, and they'll do a bunch of different things. And most outreach, what I find is people are doing the most comfortable outreach, which is scraping leads, doing some cold outreach on social media, posting, cold email, cold SMS, cold DMs, trying to do kind of faceless outreach or what's most safe. And what I see is that this just takes a long time, or it doesn't work, and people quickly get kind of deflated and they struggle with getting their first deals because people don't know how much it really takes. So you might send 1,000 cold messages and maybe you get one response. Maybe you get one sales appointment booked. Maybe that person doesn't show up. And you're thinking, I just spent 2 months learning how to do this, building all this stuff, putting in the hours, and then your one appointment doesn't show. So I've heard a lot of people that have had this experience. So I don't think this is the right way to start. What should you do if you're new to GoHighLevel and learning how to sell some of these software services? Stop scraping leads, stop the cold DMs, stop the Facebook posting, trying to tell people that you're going to build them a free AI chat bot or whatever it is. Stop all the cold outreach. It's not the right way to start. So where is the right place to start? Your own personal network and cold calling. 100% it's the right way to start. So if you want to start with the business, this is what you need to do. Forget all of the building. Spend a few days, learn the basics. Great. Go sell your first client, get them on board. It's probably going to be a friend or somebody that you know with a small business, and then build it and then repeat the process. So let the sale dictate your learning. So go sell it, build it, learn it, and then rinse and repeat. This is what you should do to get your first 10 clients. Now, in some ways, yeah, it's easier said than done. You've got to learn the stuff and you've got to get paid. You got to close the deal. So likely you need to start with your first 3 clients are friends and family, or people that your friends or family know that have a business in the target niche that you want to work with. So start there and then cold call to get to your first 10 clients. 100% of the time, I recommend this to everybody who's starting. You have to do it. It's way better than the cold outreach. This is going to give you the quickest chance to get in the batter's box and take a swing, and you're more likely to close a deal. There's going to be some forgiveness and grace with somebody who knows you, who's a friend or a family member or an acquaintance, a referral, and they're going to give you a chance to learn as you go. So this is what I say you need to do if you want to start. Now, I have called no more than 500 local businesses, and I got to over 50 clients with that. So cold calling is definitely the way to go. But what I find is that most people are cold calling with really bad outreach strategies. So I do think the market is saturated, but it's saturated with bad outreach. So small businesses, they get calls all the time of people trying to sell them stuff, and they're kind of tired of it. But if you do outreach the right way, people love it. So I've gotten as far as I have with just cold calling, and I'm in some communities, and I started getting a lot of people asking me for help. Like, hey, I see you're getting clients. I see you're closing deals. I'm just getting started. Can you help me? And I got so many people reaching out, asking for help, that I started my own little community. And this is the concept behind the channel. And it's basically that everybody wants to close deals and they want to close sales, and they get hyper focused on how do I close the deal? How do I close the deal? So I came up with this concept of open the sale instead of close the sale. So most people, they need to learn before you can get paid and close the deal, you have to learn how to open the deal. You need to learn how to build trust with business owners. And this is what I think most people are missing that start this business. Is they think that if they have this fancy technology and AI and all these cool features, that small businesses are going to want to buy this. In reality, that's just not the case. Businesses, especially small businesses, they want to work with people that they trust. And so if you want to sell, you've got to be able to build trust with a business owner, and get the door open to then close the deal. So that's the concept behind Open the Sale. And it's all about making cold calling cool again. That's what it's all about, because I think cold calling is 100% the way to go to get to your first 10, 20, 30 clients. And then after that, there's all kinds of doors you can open to do new things for outreach. So this is what I started. And I have a little Skool community called Open the Sale. And basically what's in here is just everything that I'm doing. And it's very focused on simple sales techniques, my exact playbook of what I'm doing, my exact automations that I'm using to sell to local businesses, and training on how I do outreach, doing weekly Q&A and sales coaching, and just trying to help people that are starting out, learning what I wish I would have known when I started to go faster. And I share like where I get my leads, how I find leads that actually pick up the phone, what works, what doesn't, how I follow up with people and stay connected and then close deals over time. And then I have some like fun hooks and value adds to get in the door with people. So I'm sharing basically everything that I'm doing because I fundamentally believe that like the abundance mindset is where it's at. There is so much opportunity, and there are so many small businesses out there that need help with this stuff, that if you can put the time in and learn it, you can do it. And there's enough for anybody who's serious to go out there and get 5, 10, 20, 50 clients and do great and make real money. And so I want to share what I'm doing that's working. I think the difference with what I'm starting with the little community that I have is I'm actually in the trenches building the business, and I'm going to share exactly what I'm doing in real time, what's actually working. So that is the plan. And if you're thinking like, can I do this? Here's what you should ask yourself, right? The essentials to get started. If you want to make a little bit of money or replace the job 9 to 5 with the high level business opportunity, I think you need at least $200 to start, signing up for the basic subscription. You need a computer, you need internet, you've got to have some time, at least nights and weekends, but that's totally enough to start. You've got to be willing to learn some new stuff. So there is a learning curve. It does take time to learn. And if you have the patience and you stick with it, you can totally learn it. So got to have some tenacity, got to be willing to stick with it. And most importantly, you have to want to sell. And what I would tell you is if you're not willing to make some cold calls, don't do it. Cold calling is the way to go. You've got to be willing to get on the phone and talk to businesses. But that's what I teach people how to do in a way that actually works, I think, really well. That's what's allowed me to close around 8 to 10% of the businesses that I contact. So even better, if you're watching this and you are in the United States, big opportunity. If you're overseas, there's still an opportunity to sell to local businesses in the US, but best case scenario, you're in the US, you live in a US city, and you've got friends or family to start with, and that's the beginning of your journey. So that's really what you need to make sure that you have to get started doing this. And I think if you have all these things, you can 100% make some money and maybe even replace the 9 to 5. It does take time. It's not easy, but it's an amazing opportunity. And I think the monthly recurring revenue is really the magic. Like that's where it's at. So what should you do next? If you want to learn more, this is just the beginning, first video that I'm doing. This channel is going to be all about me sharing exactly how I'm building, what I'm building, what am I selling, price points, the offer, everything. So if you're intrigued, if you want to learn about how to join, what to do, check out the links below. You can sign up for GoHighLevel with my affiliate link and then get access for free to my community on Skool. So that's where I'm sharing all my resources. And if you're already in GoHighLevel using the software, if you upgrade your plan, you can use my upgrade link. Or if you just want to like join the community, you can pay directly and hop in there and learn everything that I'm using. So I'm going to be sharing on YouTube, on this channel, everything from stories of closing clients to some of the trainings on what I'm using in the automations for my clients, and then some live cold calling. The main focus of my channel for now is how to cold call local businesses. So if you at least want some entertainment of watching me embarrass myself on video, making cold calls, I'm going to be posting the good and bad with breakdowns and what's working for me when I call local businesses and how to close deals. But main thing is before you can close a sale, you have to open it. That's the main focus for my channel and my community is how do you do outreach that actually works? And how do you stand out from everyone else who's calling local businesses? And what I find repeatedly is when I call a business, so much of the time they will tell me, I get calls every day of people trying to sell me stuff. And the only reason that I'm still on the phone with you is because I can tell that you're different than everybody else that calls me. So if you want to learn how to have a different approach so that people actually stay on the phone and you get a shot at closing a deal, check out openthesale.com and I'll see you in there.